Hi everybody, Misdemeanor again. I did want to do this. I've been putting it off. The atheist reaction to your wiener. Um, it was fine. I got a lot of views and some new subscribers from it, so I appreciate that. But I was drunk, and I'm not sure that I made all the points that I wanted to make. So I'm going to do a sober version this morning. It's the day after the summer solstice. Um, just drinking a little country time lemonade and having some cold pizza this morning. You can see there's daylight coming out of the windows, so um, it's earlier in the day than it usually is when I make a video. What I'm not sure that I was able to connect the dots on is, and maybe I was, maybe I wasn't, but I was drunk at the time. The be the boss and fuck bitches philosophy that was born of this this monotheistic God who doesn't have a wife and doesn't have anybody to tell him no is what has led us to Joseph Smith, Brigham Young. He had I think 56 wives and 57 children. That guy. I don't know how many Joseph Smith had, but in order to be like God, he wanted to be the boss and tell everybody what to do and make a rule and tell everybody a story. Every man, and this happens in today a lot. I've noticed a lot of girls complaining about how boring guys are to talk to, and a lot of them feel this need to tell these long stories, and they don't care whether you're listening or not, or whether or not this is something that interests you. They're talking just to be heard and just to have a story. They'll talk and talk and talk, and they don't even notice that it's not interesting to you. They don't pick up the clues that people give socially, and I think a part of that is the phones and things like that we're using. But men love and enjoy telling long, long, long stories about themselves because I think they think that it'll impress you about who they are and things like that, and that's basically what the whole Bible is. Um, all of it. Well, not just the Bible. You got Muhammad doing that shit too. Just talking, just to hear himself talk, and this is how great I am. This is how wonderful everything I think of is, and this wisdom comes direct from God. This is what men do. Well, in conversation at a bar or something, he's not going to say he got this information from God. But the long, elaborate stories about how impressive he is, these are tenets of the Bible. So we got that. So Joseph Smith he did better than Jim Jones or David Koresh in that he came up with a long story that was written down. These two just used the material, the already given material that the Bible had. That's my phone. Uh, so they just use the material that the Bible has. And they use that to control people because another tenet of God is that God is the boss of everybody. He's in control of everybody. And he makes all the rules. He cannot be questioned, and he cannot be told no. That's why he doesn't have a wife. And women are not, they're really not important in any way in the Bible. In order to have Jesus born in the flesh, we had to have a woman, but I mean, even that was she wasn't a hero of any kind. She just got pregnant and had a baby. That's basically her function. And if you look at my name is Misty Marie. What? My spam callers. My name is Misty Marie. That's my middle name, and you get a Weeping Madonna. I don't know if any of you've heard of that, but the Weeping Madonna is supposedly a statue or a little vignette, or that's not the right word. A, a, it's a sculpture or a thing that represents just how sad she is for everything that she went through. And I think when the Catholics do their Hail Marys, they're thinking of her, and they do put a little bit of emphasis on the things that she has gone through in order to make a Jesus. And so they gave her a quick shout out, but that was kind of all that you really get in the Bible. That's the biggest, highest female character. There's also the whore. Other than that, women are just kind of sidelines. We got Bathsheba in the Old Testament. There's a couple others that play minor parts. They're mainly just there to nod their heads and agree, or just to create some interest in their story arc. You guys, I see a lot of people bitching about women. You know, why should we get married, or the intersexual dynamic has really been broken down, and that was started by the baby boomers and their selfishness, and we'll get to that in another video. But there's no interconnection between the sexes. There's not a sense of cooperative spirit, really. It's we're just against each other. But the function of the wife is a lot of times to question the husband and to say, no, we're not going to do that, but God doesn't have that. And that's where we get to the David Koreshes. That's where we get to the Jim Joneses. That's where we get to the Mormons. It's just it's a ploy to get followers to follow your leadership, and with that leadership, your wiener comes into play, because if you have that power to tell everybody what they have to do, it's almost always, unless you're gay, it's almost always used to fuck women. In Joseph Smith's case, he was sending people off to missions and shit, and then marrying the wives while they were gone, doing what he told them to do. And that's the problem with having a monotheistic religion. There's no, if you look back at the Viking stories, or the Greek stories, or the ancient Roman stories, these are all, there's multiple sexes, there's multiple characters, there's consequences to actions that are performed on people. In monotheism, it is what the man says, and what he says goes. And I don't know, not only are women not allowed to question it, but nobody is allowed to question it. It's just that power. When you have that much power of being the boss of that many people, or however many people it is, even if it's only like 20 people, if you have 20 people thinking that you have some sort of divine right to tell them what to do, your power is infinite, and then it corrupts you, and it's ultimately always used to benefit the wiener. And I hate to beat a dead wiener. It's you can't underscore how or underestimate how important having a penis is in the Bible, in theology, and in the way that our society has been set up since the dawn of civilization. So I think I've covered most everything here. I just wanted to make sure that see, I still stutter when I'm not drunk, but when you go from Joseph Smith, before that was Henry VIII, where okay, I get to. Where is the paper on? Okay, this one. You go from Joseph Smith telling everybody what to do. David Koresh. Pretty much everybody knows that those people are full of shit. If you haven't watched Trey Parker and Matt Stone's The Book of Mormon, or even just the South Park episode about Mormons, and you can tell that the story's bullshit. I was a part of it for a short time, but I think I covered that already. But from there, the English Reformation, Henry, this was all about his dick, and not only was that the problem, Henry didn't want daughters. And this is going to be a theme in tomorrow's show, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. But not wanting daughters was his main problem. He could have stayed married to his original wife. What was his first wife's name? I forgot. Catherine. He could have stayed married to Catherine, just been satisfied with one heir, but that was just a girl heir. He wanted a boy heir. So he sends her off. He reformed the church based on this wiener. He wanted a woman that could produce him a wiener. So he kept doing it. He kept trying. He eventually was successful. I forget which one. Was it Jane Seymour, I think, maybe? Did she have the son eventually for him? But he just wanted to be able to marry whoever he wanted, and he didn't want to be questioned by the Catholics about it. The Catholics, he didn't want them to give him shit about it. At the time, they had too much power. And that's why Martin Luther was doing his Reformation. And I don't know if he knew something about Catholicism and their clergy, but when you're talking about 1400 years of a clergy of Catholics, they're not supposed to fuck women. I don't know if they fucked each other. Certainly they fucked altar boys. I don't know if any of this was kind of secretly talked about. But a man will fuck whoever he's around. He'll the wiener. What happens is it gets engorged with blood, and it gets hard, and there's a drive inside the man to penetrate something with that hardness. So it doesn't matter if you're in a group of priests. At some point in 1500 years, you can't tell me that they weren't fucking each other. It's just like men in prison. They weren't gay when they went in prison, but after 25 years in there, maybe there's a ladyboy in there. You know, maybe an effeminate guy, or maybe not even effeminate. Maybe just somebody that was, willing to take one for the team. We can't be like, if you're going to have one God, it has to be a man, because men are, they're stronger, smarter. Look, there's a lot of things that they have going on for them. They've invented most things. They've, you can't have a woman, but God could have had a wife. Because there was some mistakes made, and but the fact that at the time we couldn't question men, or we were mostly chattel, um, and we still are in a lot of ways, uh, but I don't know. This is part of the problem. If there was some sort of divine female, then Henry VIII wouldn't have been able to get away with what he did to his wives, and neither would Joseph Smith would have gone as far as he did with just having long lists of females and taking other men's wives and fucking whoever he wants to. And that doesn't extend to the females. Girls can't be whores. Only men can fuck multiple women. This is all. It's all very, very. It's harmful to women. It has been. It's held us back for a lot of years. And I'm not saying look. I'm just here. I'm not bitching about the patriarchy. I don't want to sound like I'm doing that. But God needs a female counterpart. Let's see. Did I forget anything? I don't know. This God philosophy, it's a hindrance to it's been a hindrance to us socially, because this monotheistic religion has been, we're talking about 6 billion people here that believe in this one God that is unquestionable and in total power and has no wife. He to create man blew on a bunch of dirt to create man. It's an insult to me as a woman, fundamentally, that you think that God created man by blowing on the dirt, forming a perfect being out of mud and blowing in the nostrils. That is fucking ridiculous, and it's an insult to all femininity, and that could have all been fixed if Jesus would have just had a wife, or if men could have had somebody biblically in the story, in the creation story, to look up to, or to imagine that we have the right to question you, or we have the right to tell you no. These are new things. These are new things that are coming about, that we're even able to tell men no, just in the last 100 years or so. But then we got the gender confusion. Now we got men saying, I don't want to be this ideal human perfection idea. This is not for me. Cut my wiener off. Or girls that say, hey, I'd like to have all the power that men have. I'll get an ugly haircut and try to form a wiener out of my forearm or something. It's all wiener obsessed. Trad wives used to be just called wives. They just used to be called wives. Now there's a thing, and it's not very common, and it's called trad wives. You see a few of those on the internet, but mostly what you see on the internet is whores. And what choice do we have? Because men can fuck whoever they want to. And this has been drilled into us for thousands of years. So that's the only option for sexuality, and it's really, really screwed up. You can go outside it's June still. Just go outside on the weekend and you can see how badly this monotheistic religion, this wiener worship, has screwed up our society. But I do have a solution. We're going to get to the beginning of it tomorrow. So join me tomorrow and we'll discuss some things from there. I don't know how to tease it. Not sure how to tease it. My mother's going to really hate it. There's some bio information about me that'll be in there. So, but we'll look forward to that, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.